Now let us see a few questions and answers in computer graphics. So first of all, what is computer graphics? Define computer graphics. Computer graphics remains one of the most existing and rapidly growing computer field, and this may be defined as computer graphics may be defined as the pictorial representation or graphical representation of objects in a computer. So the science behind or the technology algorithms which are required for pictorially representing the objects onto the computer is computer graphics. So what is meant by scan code? When a key is pressed on the keyboard, the keyboard controller plays a code carried to key pressed into this part of the memory called as the keyboard buffer. Now this code is called as scan code. What is meant by refreshing of the screen? Some method is needed for maintaining the picture on the screen. So refreshing of the screen is done by keeping the phosphorus glowing to redraw the picture repeatedly. That is by quickly directing the electronic beam back to the same points. Define random scan and raster scan lines. Random scan lines is a method in which the display is made by electronic beam, which is directed only to the points or part of the screen where the picture is to be drawn. So if this is the screen and this is the picture which is to be drawn, the electron beam will be directed here only. On the other hand, this raster scan system, this is a scanning technique in which the electrons sweep from top to bottom, means top to bottom, from left to right. Left to right means this is left, this is right, left to right, and the intensity is turned and on and off to the light and unlight the pixel. So list out the merits and demerits of penetration techniques. So here are the merits and demerits. First of all, it is an expensive technique. It has only 4 colors. The quality of the picture is not good when it is compared to the other techniques, and it can display color scans in monitor and poor limitation, etc. Now this merits and demerits of DVST. DVST stands for Direct View Storage Tubes. Direct View Storage Tubes. And it has a flat screen, refreshing is not required, selective or part erasing is not possible. It has a poor contrast and performance is inferior to the refresh CRT. What do we mean by emissive and non-emissive display? The emissive display converts electrical energy into light energy. The plasma panel, thin film electroluminescent display are examples. While the non-emissive are optical effects to convert the sunlight or light from any of the source, from any source to graphic form. Okay, to represent or pictorial representing from any other source, may it be sunlight or any other light source. This is known as non-emissive display. LCD is an example of this non-emissive. So plasma, they are emissive, and LCD is non-emissive. What is persistence? At the time it takes the emitted light from the screen to decay 1/10 of its original intensity is called the persistence. So you have this screen. Now you have shown something. How long it will be means if it decays to 1/10, the time which it takes is known as the persistence. Now you will be asked, what is resolution? It is the maximum number of points that can be displayed without an overlap on a CRT or any other display device is known as resolution. Sometimes it is also known as the lowest discernible distance, which is known as resolution, which is spatial resolution sometimes. Now if there are pixels, say 100 by 100 pixels, 100 by 100, so 100 by 100 is the resolution, 100 into 100 is the resolution. And normally written in terms of the height and the width. Now merits and demerits of plasma panel display. Merits are reflection is not required, produces a very steady image free of flicker means flicker free image is there, less bulky than CRT. While demerit is poor resolution and it requires complex addressing and wiring and is costlier than CRT. What is aspect ratio? The ratio of vertical points to the horizontal points necessary to produce length of line in both directions of the screen is called as aspect ratio. Usually this aspect ratio is 3/4. What do you mean by addressability? Now, addressability is the method of individual dots per inch. Individual dots per inch that can be created. So, if the address of the current dot is xy, then the next dot will be x plus 1 and xy plus 1. Okay, x plus y or x plus y plus 1. Means you can add 1 and you can go to the next value. What is dot size? Dot size may be defined as the diameter of a single dot on the device. Dot size is also called as a spot size, small dot. What is interdot distance? Interdot distance is the reciprocal of addressability. If the addressability is large, the interdot distance will be less. So if one spot is there, the other spot can be reached like this. And if one spot is there, other spot can be reached like this. Then we say that here interdot distance is large, here it is less. So if the addressability is large, interdot distance would be automatically less. So the interdot distance should be less to get smooth shapes. What is the difference between impact and non-impact printers? Impact printers press formed characters face against a inked ribbon onto the paper. A line printer and a dot matrix printers are examples. While a non-impact printer or plotters, they are laser techniques, inkjet sprays, xerographic process, electrostatic methods, and electrothermal methods to get images onto the paper, like inkjet and laser printers. What are the features of inkjet? It can print this number of pages, 24 pages, maybe more than that. Resolution is good, around 360 dpi, so print quality is good. Operating cost is low. The only part that requires replacement is ink cartridge. 4 colors, cyan, yellow, magenta and black are available. Define pixel. Pixel is the shortened form of picture element. It's picture element. Each screen point is referred to as pixel or belt. What is frame buffer? Picture definition is stored in a memory area. Picture definition is stored in a memory area called the frame buffer or refresh buffer. So refresh buffer and frame buffer has actually the definition which is stored in memory area. What are the advantages of laser printer? High precision and economy, cheap to maintain, quality printers last for longer time, donor power is very cheap. Advantages of electrostatic plotter: faster than pen plotter, very high quality printers. Recent electrostatic plotters include scan conversion capability, and color electrostatic plotters are available. So they make multiple passes over the paper to plot color pictures. What is bitmap and what is pixmap? The frame buffer used in the black and white system is known as a bitmap, which takes 1 bit per pixel. Okay, the area, as I just suggested, memory area where the data is stored to be shown is known as frame buffer. If it is black and white, it is for black and white system, and it only contains 1 bit per pixel, means black or white. Then it is known as bitmap. And for a system with multiple bits per pixel, means for a color, means RGB image, say, the frame buffer is often referred to as the pixmap. What is a vector display or stroke writing or calligraphing display? Random scan monitors draw a picture one line at a time, and for this reason it is called as referred to as vector display. Where the video controller is used, this is a special purpose processor which is used to control the operation of display device. which is known as a video controller or display controller. What do you mean by scan conversion? The major task of a display processor is digitizing the picture element definition given in an application program into a set of pixel intensity value for storage in frame buffer. So this digitization process is called scan conversion. Again, the display processor, what it has a picture definition. You have application program. Now it transfers this picture definition into pixel intensity values, which is to frame buffer. This digitization process is called as scan conversion. What is an output primitive? Graphics programming package provide function to describe a scene in terms of these basic geometric structure referred to as output primitive, right? What do you mean by jaggies? Jaggies, or you can be asked what is staircase effect. So line with stair step appearance is known as jaggies. What is point in the computer graphics system? Point is the most basic this graphical element. This is the point and is completely defined by a pair of user coordinate, means xy. So write short notes on line. A line is of infinite extent and can be defined by angle slope and one point on the line pxy. So this can also be defined as y is equal to mx plus c, where m is the slope, c is the y-intercept. Define circle. Circle is defined as its center at xc, yc and its radius in user coordinate units. So the equation of the circle is given by x. I'll just show you, like x minus xc whole square plus y minus yc whole square is equal to r square. If xc and yc are the coordinate points of the center, which is the center point, and r is the radius. So circle can also be termed as the locus of a point. The locus of points having constant distance from a single point is known as circle. Now define polygon. Polygon is any closed continuous sequence of line segment. That is, a polyline whose last node point is same as the first node. So the line segments form the sides of this polygon and their intersecting points form the vertices of the polygon. Distinguish between convex and concave polygons. If the line joining any 2 points in the polygon lies completely inside the polygon, then they are known as convex polygon. And if the line joining any 2 points in the polygon lies outside the polygon, then they are known as concave polygon. Means if you have this kind of polygon and if I join these lines, these two points, this line is outside this polygon. Okay, and if I make polygon like this, and if I combine any other point, any 2 points, then it always remains inside. When it remains inside, it is a convex polygon. When it goes outside, it is a concave polygon. What is seed fill? What is seed fill? One way to fill a polygon is to start from a given point, that is seed, known to be inside the polygon, and highlighting outwards from this point, that is neighboring pixels, until encounters the boundary pixel. This approach is called seed fill. So if you have polygon like this, now you take a seed point and you start from going outwards till the time you meet the boundary, and this is how the filling will take place. What is scan line algorithm? One way to fill the polygon is to apply the inside test, that is to check whether the pixel is inside the polygon or outside the polygon, and then highlight the pixel which lie inside the polygon. This approach is known as scan line algorithm. Again, we have to fill the polygon, and for that we need to check the inside. We have to test the inside check. That is, we are going to check whether the pixel is inside the polygon or outside the polygon. Okay, inside the polygon or outside the polygon, and then highlight the pixels which lie, all the points which are inside the polygon. This is known as scanline algorithm. So once you have inside test being passed, then that point which is inside can be used to fill the polygon. Define coherence properties. A coherence property of a scene is a part of a scene by which you can relate one part of the scene with the other part of the screen. So coherence property is you have two scenes. So one part of scene, if it is related or it can be related to other part of the scene, then this is coherence property. What is an active edge list in the scanline algorithm? Active edge list this is list. So active edge list of a scanline contains all edges crossed by that scanline. Okay, if you can say a line, if it is crossing some edges, then you make a list, and those are the active edge list. Now, what is this cell array? A cell array is a primitive that allows user to display or an arbitrary shape defined as a two-dimensional grid pattern. So this is two-dimensional grid or cell array. Okay. So here you show it. So this is a primitive which allows the user to display an arbitrary shape defined as a two-dimensional grid pattern. So what is typeface? Letters, numbers and other characters can be displayed in a variety of sizes and styles. The overall design style of set of characters is known as typeface. What do you mean by a font? The term font refers to a set of cast metal characters which forms in a particular size or format, such as 10-point Courier italic. So this term font is actually a set of cast metal characters such as particular size and format. What is bitmap font? The bitmap font, a simple method of representing the character shapes in a particular typeface, you know this, is to use rectangular grid patterns. The set of characters are then referred to as a bitmap font. What is an outline font? A flexible scheme is to describe character shapes using straight line and curve sections. So in this case, a set of characters is called as outline font. What is an attribute parameter? Any parameter that affects the way a primitive is to be displayed is referred to as attribute parameter, right? What are the various attributes of a line? A line type, width, color, these are the attributes of the line. So line type includes solid line, dashed lines and dotted lines. What is pixel mask? What is pixel mask? Pixel mask is a string containing the digits 1, 0 to indicate which position to plot along the line path, right? The mask such as this could be used to display a dashed line with a dash length of 4 and interdot spacing of 3. So line will be shown like this. This is a pixel mask. What is a line cap? Line caps can be used to adjust the shape of the line ends to give a better appearance. Means there are three types of line caps: butt cap, which has the square end; round cap, which has a semicircular end; and projecting square cap, which has one half of the line width beyond the specified endpoints. List out the methods used for smoothly joining two line segments. If two line segments are there, how can we join them? We have middle join, round join, and bevel join. So by extending the outer boundaries of each of the two lines until they meet, right? Round join by capping the connection between the two segments with a circular boundary whose diameter is equal to the line width, and by displaying the line segments with the butt caps and filling in the triangular gap where the segment meet. Now, what is color lookup table? In color displays, 24 bits per pixels are commonly used, means 8 bit which represent 256 level of each color. So 8 for RGB, say 8 3 is 24. So it is necessary to read 24 bit of each pixel from the frame buffer. Now this is very time consuming. To avoid this, video controller uses lookup table to store many entries to pixel values in RGB format. So this lookup table is commonly known as a color table. What is tiling pattern? The process of filling an area with a rectangular pattern is called tiling, and rectangular fill patterns are sometimes referred to as tiling patterns. The same tiles as you use in your house, rectangular tiles or square tiles, these are the tiling patterns. What is soft fill? Soft fill is a filling method in which fill color is combined with the background colors. If colors which you want to fill is combined with the background color, we say it is a soft fill. What is a kerned character? Kerned character. The characters which extend beyond the character body limit is known as kerned character. Means F and J. Okay. See, F is going beyond character body, and J is again going beyond the character body. This is known as kerned character. What is character up vector? What is character up vector? The orientation of a displayed character string is a set according to the direction of the character up vector. Okay? Character up vector means the orientation of the displayed character, which is a set according to the direction. Direction means of the character up vector. Define bundled attributes. Individual attribute commands provide a simple and direct method for specifying attributes when a single output device is used. So when several kinds of output devices are available at a graphics installation, it is convenient to set up a table for each output device that lists set of attributes that are to be used on the device to display each primitive type. So the attribute specified in this manner is known as bundled attribute for various different kind of output device. What is aliasing? In the line drawing algorithms, all rasterized locations do not match with a true line and have to represent a straight line. This problem is severe in low resolution screen. So in such screen, lines appear like a stair step. This is known as aliasing, like this. The line will be shown like this. Mostly in the screen with low resolution. So in a line drawing algorithm, all rasterized locations do not match with the true line. The line should be like this or straight. It shows like this. So representation of a straight line is not possible. This artifact is known as aliasing. What is anti-aliasing? The process of adjusting intensity of the pixels along the line to minimize the effect of aliasing is called the anti-aliasing. So there are a number of pixels in this particular line which are creating this jaggery or stair step or alias effect. Now, the process of adjusting this intensity of these pixels along this line to minimize the effect of aliasing is known as anti-aliasing. What is pixel phasing? Pixel phasing is an anti-aliasing technique. Pixel phasing is an anti-aliasing technique, and stage steps are smoothed out by moving the electron beam to more nearly approximate position specified by the object geometry. Right? Now, what is transformation? Transformation is the process of introducing changes in the shape, size, and orientation of the object using scaling, rotation, reflection, shearing, and translation. So, scaling, rotation, reflection, we'll see about the question about these also. These are the transformation. We introduce changes in the shape, size, and orientation through scaling, rotation, reflection, sharing, and translation. Now, you could, if you are asked, talk about active and passive transformation. In the active transformation, the points x and x dash represent different coordinates of the same coordinate system. Here, all the points are acted upon by some transformation, and hence the shape of the object is not disturbed. In a passive transformation, the points x and x dash represent same points in the space but in a different coordinate system. Hence, the change in the coordinates is merely due to the change in the type of the user coordinate system. This is passive transformation. What is translation? Translation is the process of changing the position of an object in a straight line path from one coordinate location to another. Every point xy in the object must go under displacement of, say, x dash y dash. The representation is given by x dash y dash is given by x plus tx and y plus ty. This tx and ty is common and constant for all the values in the shape. What is scaling? The scaling transformation changes the shape of the object and can be carried out by multiplying each vertex by scaling factor sx and sy, where sx is the scaling factor of x and sy is the scaling factor of y. What is shearing? The shearing transformation actually slants the object along the x direction or the y direction as required. So, this transformation slants the shape of the object along a required plane. What is reflection? The reflection is actually the transformation that produces a mirror image of an object. For this, we use some angles and lines of reflection. Distinguish between window port and viewport. A portion of a picture that is to be displayed by a window is known as a window port. The display area of the part selected or the form in which the selected part is viewed is known as viewport. Let me explain it again. A portion of a picture which is to be displayed by a window is known as a window port. Now, the display area of the part selected or the form in which the selected part is viewed is known as the viewport. Now, what is clipping? Define clipping. Clipping is a method of cutting a graphic display to nearly fit a predefined graphic region or the viewport. So you have a report, and if something is there, you can clip it so that this part is available or seen. What is covering? That is exterior clipping. So this is just opposite of clipping. This removes the line coming out inside the window and displays the remaining. It is opposite of clipping, exterior clipping. So covering is mainly used to make labels on the complex pictures. What is the need of homogeneous coordinates? To perform more than one transformation at a time, use homogeneous coordinates or matrices. So they reduce unwanted calculations, intermediate steps, save times and memory, and produce sequence of transformation. For that, we need these homogeneous coordinates. Distinguish between uniform scaling and differential scaling. When the scaling factor Sx and Xy are assigned the same value, a uniform scaling is produced that maintains the relative object proportions, or you can say aspect. Unequal values of Sx and Sy result in differential scaling that is used this is often used in designing an application. What is fixed point scaling? The location of the scaled object can be controlled by a position called the fixed point, which is to remain unchanged after scaling transformation. That is called fixed point scaling. List out various text clipping. Now, text clipping options: all or none string clipping, all or none character clipping, individual characters. Means if all of the string is inside a clip window, keep it, otherwise discard. First option. The other is all or none character clipping. Means discard only those characters that are not completely inside the character window. Any character that either overlaps or is outside a window boundary is surely clipped. Individual characters. If an individual character overlaps a clip window boundary, clip off the part of the character that are just outside the window. What is the various representation schemes used in 3D objects? We have boundary representation, means this describes the three-dimensional object as a set of surface that separate the object's interior from the environment. And space portioning representation, this is the second one. It describes interior properties by partitioning the several regions containing object into a set of small number of overlapping continuous solids. Space portioning representation. What is a polygon mesh? A polygon mesh is a method of representing the polygon when the object surfaces are tiled. So it is more convenient to specify the surface facets with the mesh function. The various meshes are triangular strip, connected triangles, quadrilateral mesh. So this triangle strip produces n-2 connected triangles. Quadrilateral mesh, it generates n-1 into n-1 quadrilaterals. What is surface patch? A single surface element can be defined as the surface traced out as two parameters u and v, which takes all possible values from 0 to 1 in a two parameter representation. Such a single surface element is known as a surface patch. Again, if a single surface element which we can define as the surface traced out with two parameters u and v, which takes all possible values from 0 to 1 in a two parameter representation. Such a single surface is surface patch. So what are the advantages of rendering polygons by scanline method? Advantages of rendering polygons by scanline methods. The minimum and maximum values of the scan were easily found, and the intersection of scan line with edges is easily calculated by a simple incremental method. So these are few advantages of rendering polygons by scanline method. Also, we have the depth of the polygon at each pixel is easily calculated by an incremental method. What are the advantages of rendering by patch splitting? So it is fast, especially on workstation with a hardware polygon rendering pipeline, and its speed can be varied by altering the depth of subdivision. What is B-spline curve? B-spline curve is a set of piecewise, usually cubic, polynomial segments that passes close to set of control points. However, the curve does not pass through these control points. It only passes close to them. So there are certain control points which controls these piecewise polynomial segments that pass through this set of control points. So it does not actually pass this through control points. They control points only controls these polynomial segments. What is a spline? To produce a smooth curve through a design set of points, a flexible strip called spline is used. Such a spline curve can be mathematically described with a piecewise cubic polynomial function whose first and second derivatives are continuous across various curve sections. This is spline. So what is the use of these control points? Spline curves can be specified by giving a set of coordinate positions called control points, which indicates the general shape of the curve, which can specify spline curve. What are the different ways of specifying spline curves? Using a set of boundary conditions that are imposed on the spline, using the state matrix that characterize the spline, using a set of blending functions that calculate the position along with the curve path by specifying combination of geometry constraints on the curve. What are the important properties of Bezier curve? Bezier curve. It needs only 4 control points. Bezier curve need only 4 control points. It always passes through the first and last control point. The curve lies entirely within the convex half formed by 4 control points. So it always remains inside with the convex half which is formed by the 4 control points. Differentiate between interpolation spline and approximation spline. When the spline curve passes through all the control points, then it is called interpolation, or it is called as interpolated. When the curve is not passing through all the control points, then the curve is called approximation spline. What do you mean by parabolic splines? For parabolic splines, a parabola is fitted through the first 3 points P1, P2, P3 of the data array of dot points. So for parabolic points, a parabola is fitted through these 3 points 1, 2, 3, P1, P2, P3 of the data array of dot points. Then a second parabola arc is found to fit the sequence P2, P3, P4. Again we have this P2, P3, P4, again a parabola. This continues in the way until a parabolic arc is found to fit through this Pn to Pn-2. Last 3 ones, P1, P2, P3, P2, P3, P4, then P4, P5, P6, then last Pn-1, N-2, N-1 and Pn. So the final plotted curve is a meshing together of all these parabolic arcs. These are called parabolic splines. What is cubic spline? Cubic splines are a straightforward extension of the concept of underlying parabolic splines. So the total curve in this case is a sequence of arcs of cubic rather than parabolic curves. Define octrees. Hierarchical tree structure called octrees are used to represent solid objects in some graphic system. Right? Octrees, hierarchical tree structure, used for representing solid objects in some graphic systems. So medical imaging and other applications that require displays of object cross-sectional commonly use this octree representation. Define projection. The process of displaying 3D into 2D display is known as projection, and the projection transforms 3D objects into 2D projection plane. What are the steps involved in 3D transformation? First, we model the transformation, we view the transformation, project the transformation, and then workstation transformation. What do you mean by view plane? A view plane is nothing but the film plane in a camera, which is positioned and oriented for a particular shot of the screen. What is view plane normal vector? The normal vector is the direction perpendicular to the view plane, and it is called as dxn or dyn and dzn. These are the subscript. What is the view distance? The view plane normal vector is directed line segment from the view plane to the view reference point. The length of this directed line segment is referred to as the view distance. Again, the projection. The process of converting the description of object from world coordinates to the viewing coordinates is known as projection. You can say 3D to 2D transformation, or you can say that the conversion of the actual object description of object from actual world coordinates to the viewing coordinates or the planar coordinates. What do you mean by parallel projection? Parallel projection is one in which Z axis is discarded and parallel lines from each vertex of the objects are extended until they intersect the view plane. Right? Z is entirely discarded, and the parallel lines from each of the vertex is now extended until they intersect the view plane. So what do you mean by perspective projection? Perspective projection is one in which the lines of the projection are not parallel. Instead, they all converge at a single point called the center of projection. What is projection reference point? A perspective projection, the line of projection are not parallel. Instead, they all converge at a single point, which is called as a projection reference point. What is the use of projection reference point? A perspective projection, the object positions are transformed to the view plane along these converged projection line, and the projected view of that object is determined by calculating the intersection of the converged projection lines with the view plane. So what are the different types of parallel projection? The parallel projections are categorized in two ways depending on the relationship between the direction of projection and the normal to the view plane. They are orthographic parallel projection and oblique projection. This parallel projection. What is orthographic parallel projection? When the direction of the plane or the direction of projection is perpendicular to the view plane, then the projection is called orthographic parallel projection. While what is orthographic oblique projection? When the direction of the projection is not perpendicular to the view plane, then we call it as this projection is known as oblique projection. What is axonometric orthographic projection? The orthographic projection can display more than one face or object, right? Such an orthographic projection is called as axonometric orthographic projection if it is able to show more than one face or object. What is vanishing point? The perspective projection of any set of parallel lines that are not parallel to the projection plane converge to a point known as vanishing point. What do you mean by principal vanishing point? The vanishing point of any set of lines that are parallel to one of the three principal axes of an object is referred to as a principal vanishing point or axis vanishing point. What is view reference point? The view reference point is the center of viewing coordinate system. It is often chosen to be close to or on the surface of some object in the screen. So these were a few questions on our computer graphics. Hope you are benefited by it. Thank you. Take care of yourself.